All right, the case accusing Alex Murdaugh of shooting his wife and son is going to begin in less than a week. But as horrible as this is, it's just part of this bizarre story with a long history surrounding him and his family. 5 deaths, 6 years, okay? So let's try to make sense of what story is going to be told coming our way next week with criminal trial attorney Sara Azari, friend of show, joining from LA. She will be local for the pendency of these proceedings. So look, it's a great story, Sara. You know, to hear it, it's bizarre, it's crazy. They all die different ways. How are they connected? But what do they amount to in a murder trial about the wife and the son?
Yeah, Chris, good to be with you. Look, it's really, it's about the prosecution's theory of motive, right? I've tried countless murder trials and murder charges, and I have never had a case where the prosecution does not present motive to the jury. We all want to know. They want to know. And so the 2 deaths that he's going on trial for are Maggie and Paul. These other deaths, he's not behind, but it's more about what he did in response and after the fact, the cover-ups, the embezzlement, you know, the fraud. And so starting with 2015, the death of 19-year-old gay Stephen Smith on a dark road in Hampton County, super bizarre. They called it a hit and run. There was some, discrepancy between the pathologist and the coroner's findings. And then Murdaugh was there. Really bizarre, even though they thought that it was Buster and Paul that committed a hate crime murder, okay? And then you go to 2018, the death of Gloria Satterfield, his longtime housekeeper, slip and fall, no foul play there. But afterwards, he suggested to her survivors, her 2 sons, look, I'm gonna let you make a claim against my insurance policy. He gets them a lawyer, his buddy, he gets them a banker to represent the estate, and he walks off with about almost $5 million in settlements that they had no idea about. They sued Murdaugh, and that case was settled. And then you have sort of the mothership of all of these that opened up Pandora's box, which is the boating accident that Paul was involved in 2019. Murdaugh is in the hospital after this boating accident, going door to door, witness tampering, trying to put another guy behind the wheel of this boat. Obviously, it didn't work. And that, to me, Chris, is the one that might come in for motive, because very shortly after the double murders, he was supposed to produce discovery and financial records in that case. Otherwise, Maggie and Paul would be dragged into that lawsuit. So that's sort of the critical one, and it all turns on admissibility, of course.
Help me with this. I mean, you're the one I've been asking for help, how to figure out how things are going to go in court for years. But even I feel like I'd be like, wait, you can't let any of this in. What does this have to do with the mother and the son? I get that you, Ms. Prosecutor, believe that this is relevant, but this is highly prejudicial. I mean, you're pinning all these things on me that you have no proof about in a case that's about who killed my wife and son. Does a judge go for that?
100%. I think it's all about admissibility. More prejudicial than probative does not come in. And that's why I'm saying 100+ charges that are white collar pending. And then all of these unrelated deaths. The one thing that I think the judge will limit this to and admit maybe the boating accident, the facts and circumstances around that support motive.
That's why you told me that it matters to you that the prosecutor is a white collar guy, not a homicide guy, because so much of this material has to do with financial transactions and bizarre things where people may have wound up dead, but it was about money. So previous lawsuits and the idea of why that would matter. How so?
Previous lawsuits, you mean the Mallory Beach and the...
all these white-collar charges. The laws, does it matter if there was a lawsuit about it more than just speculation about it?
Not really, because it's about the facts underlying those lawsuits. It's not really about, like, for example, he settled some of these lawsuits. It doesn't matter that he settled the lawsuits. It's about the facts and circumstances that led to those lawsuits. So if the judge believes that that is relevant and not as prejudicial, more prejudicial than probative, then he'll let it in. But come on, 100+ charges that are pending? No way. No way.
Well, it doesn't take a lot, though, if people feel that what happened with the wife and son don't make sense. And the most basic question that's asked in a homicide trial is, well, if it wasn't him, then who was it? And if the jury can't get around that. Go ahead, last word.
Yeah, I've represented attorneys who have stolen from clients, okay? Jurors hate them because it's such an abuse of power, right? So it's also about the likability factor here. If the jury really dislikes him, it's not going to go well for him.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.